Hello and welcome back to the Unprofessional Footballer Podcast. Joined with me today, Melvin Akingboye,
Been a minute,
episode.
hasn't it? It's been a minute.
It's fucking been ages. We've actually got it up on the screen. My last podcast was 1 month ago with Patty Lamana.
And when was the last time you saw me?
Last time I saw you,
You saw me this morning, but I'm just...
I mean, I see him every fucking day.
Oh, God.
You'd think we're attached at the hip. But the last podcast I had with Melv, 2 months ago.
2 months. Oh, time's flying by.
And episode 1, 3 months ago. So we're on track to have 12 episodes by the end of the year. One episode a month.
So we got... It's not too bad.
I think I'm going to start pushing these back out a bit more regularly. It's been a while. I have had a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. Busy. Pre-season, Melv.
Yeah. Pre-season starts next week for most players.
Exactly.
A lot of players signing here, left, right, centre, new contracts, new teams. Still looking for a team at the moment, but
Me too, bro. I'm waiting for that phone call. My phone
we'll see what happens. There's loads of time.
There's a long time left, and like someone said at training the other day, your phone will start blowing up in the final week of the transfer window because that's when all the clubs realise a lot of the players they've signed are dog shit and they still need players. And they go through their pre-season games and they're getting battered left, right and centre and they start panicking.
It'll come. I'm not even bothered. It'll come.
Yeah, I'm missed the deadline day at the moment. So 2 years in a row I've completed deadline day. I think I'm probably going to have another busy deadline day. So anyway, the talking topic for today, reasons the podcast was put on the back burner, and that is, as some of you might know, the Unprofessional Fives. So Mel, you've been a part of the Unprofessional Fives.
Yeah.
Do you want to give a quick summary of what you think the Fives is?
Pre-season, like you said, fitness, great fitness. Just a way to, keep in touch with the ball because most clubs are off for a couple of weeks and, getting players to come, really, really good players, good level players to come together and, put an hour shift in there of just, quality football. And it's been really... it's been a journey,
It's been a
journey, actually. Coming from the first one to... How many do we have now? It's like
we're on 8.
8.
9 is coming up this Wednesday in 2 days' time from recording.
It's about, 6-7 weeks of football.
It's been non-stop for us. We are also in the middle of a training camp, so we're juggling training every day alongside keeping the Fives going, and people are starting now to filter back into their teams for pre-season, so the Fives is starting to come to a close, which is why we thought it would be the perfect time to start talking about it and get you guys hyped for the rest of the season of the Fives. So we've got 5 more episodes at the moment waiting to be edited. 3 of them have been released so far.
3 or 4? 3.
3 so far.
So,
3
yeah,
so
yeah.
far. And it's been a success.
It's
been
really
really
good.
successful. The feedback we've gotten from the football community in Malta, the football community abroad. I've had a lot of the players that I've met from England, from America, and the other places that I've travelled. They're all loving it and wish they were over here right now so they could be a part of it.
It's good. It's fun as well. It keeps you engaged. It's engaged. It's a lot of things, and it's not
That's
just.
It's not just a five-a-side match. You're sitting there, you're listening to me and Melvin joke around on commentary. That's always going to be a laugh. It's almost like a podcast in itself on commentary. You're seeing fresh faces every week. I think we're in full rotation mode now, where every episode you're going to see new players and fucking people bring in the skills with them. The level gets very, very high as everyone's getting fitter and fitter. But like Melvin said, the idea was kind of born at the beginning of pre-season, or at the beginning of off-season, should I say. And all the clubs stopped training. I wasn't in a very good state of fitness at that point, and I knew that now was my time to really start putting in the effort to shed some weight. I think I weighed in at like 85.7 kilometres.
Kilometres?
Oh, that's heavy. Kilograms. 85.7 kilograms I weighed in at the beginning of the off-season. And me and you were working hard, bro. When I look back at how often we were actually training in that first 2 weeks, it was brutal.
Yeah.
But worth it, because
It starts to show off,
got
yeah.
down to about 78 kilograms in, 14 days, 15 days? And since then, I've just been toning up, and fitness-wise, you see my journey.
See a lot, even in the games, you see.
If you look at
see a lot of it
episode
in
one,
the games as well.
if you look at episode 1 and compare how I look to, let's say, the footage when it gets released of episode 8, I look like a different person.
Mm-hmm.
My hairline's grown through. But the idea was really just to give players that wanted to train a place to train and allow people to level up, because in Malta I think there's always a bit of a problem with the football not being as serious as it could be due to everyone working 9 to 5
It's
jobs.
also been a lot of networking at football. You know, we have conversations. We have a group where we share a lot of things. You know, we're all keeping in touch every day, and you know, sharing pictures,
and
videos.
The main idea I wanted behind the five-a-side was, even though it's called the Unprofessional Fives, it's only signed ballers. I didn't want anyone there that's going to bring the standard down. You got to carry your own weight on that pitch. When there's only 5 of you on the pitch against 5, you're responsible for your man. You're
100%.
responsible for your fitness.
100%.
If you're not committed, then you're out.
And it shows. It shows in the games. If you're not on the level you should be, or you know, you can't keep up with the level, you see one team starting to take, you know, full advantage of that and actually winning the games and, you know, battering the other team.
Exactly. We've had a few.
It takes one player.
We've had
Literally
a few
one player.
batterings so far, and I think the next episode is going to show that. Episode 4 is a hefty scoreline, and you will see how that extra man just makes such a big difference. A little bit of underwhelming performance by...
Before we get to episode 4, I'll let you know now, I'm 3 for 3 games, 3 wins, but, you know, episode 4...
I'm also 3 for 3 games, 3 losses.
Oh, God.
Yeah, my start was poor, bro. You see in episode 1, I'm blowing after 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That level was too quick for me. But I knew long term. I was just thinking in my head as I'm playing long term. Give me 6 weeks. I'm going to be the fittest player here, and I'm going to be up and down. But then I realised TJ is just on another level of fitness, and I'm never going to catch him. Absolute animal. We're going to get on to who's actually been involved in the Fives a little bit later on. So why did we start it? We've touched on that a little bit, and mainly with the new season coming up, everyone wanted to be fit, but also everyone wanted to kind of be in the shop window. It's the right time to start putting yourself out there. I've had coaches contacting me when they've realised how many foreign players are actually working with me over here in Malta.
It's crazy, because if you look at it and say, you know, it all started as an idea. You've looked at this and said, hey, let's play football on a certain day in a week, get players to come out, and it's just gone from literally this to
next level.
You see a lot of players messaging you and saying, can I get on the next game?
The
Can
DMs
I, you know, a lot of messages
packed. So
asking
guys,
to come to the games, and, you know.
Guys, if you are watching this and you've asked me to play in a game, I just want to tell you, I've seen your message, but I've also seen the messages from fucking 100 other players that all want to be involved in this. There's only 10 places, boys. And ultimately, especially when I start to talk about some of the problems that have arisen from the Fives, I'm going to keep the regulars in the rotation
100%.
as much as possible.
100%.
One, got to stay loyal to the players that got it off the ground in the first place. But 2, I've been let down by a lot of new players when I bring them in. So
last minute, you know.
It makes you very, very hesitant to bring in new people when you could just see from patterns of letting people in before, and they just let you down last minute. It's just not worth it.
Because we all know, like, we just started it. If once you're locked in for that week, you have to show up.
You got to show up. You got to. If you said you're coming,
make
you've
a schedule, make your plan around the fact that on Wednesday or whatever day we pick for that week, we will be playing a game, and, you know.
And I tell people with plenty of time. You get more than enough time. It's on the weekend, so you get at least 5 days to
pull out or to pull out. Yeah.
If you're gonna pull out, it's maximum 24
Stop saying
hours.
pull out. You said pull out 3 times in a row. Stop saying.
I'm the king of pulling out.
We need to get that on camera. Oh my.
So, who's been involved so far? I've got a list of the players here who have taken part in the first 4 episodes. So we're going to start off with We'll go in alphabetical order. Let's do it that way. So we've got Andres Tenorio, who is currently at Marsa Scala FC, just signed.
Just signed him. It's good. They've
signed.
just come up from amateur to...
Marsa Scala just got promoted.
Mm-hmm.
He left Sengler, who just got relegated, keeping up his relegation streak.
What?
Who was it? Willie made sure everyone realised that
he got relegated.
Tenorio's relegated every team he's played for.
What, was he at Slima or where was he? Tarshin, and then...
Relegated at Tarshin, relegated at Sengler.
Great player though.
He's fucking so good, bro.
Good player.
How is this guy getting relegated? He's so good.
It's a team effort, so you can't blame one man for getting relegated.
Exactly. We've got Arthur, who was one of our goalkeepers. He's been in a lot of our training videos. Sadly, Arthur's been injured for like the last 6 weeks. So shout out Arthur. Hope your recovery is going well. He played in 2 games. We've had TJ, as we were saying, the animal, 4 games he's appeared in. Danny Claridge, 3 games.
TJ's just signed for a new club, has Mtafa as well.
Yeah. TJ is at Mtafa. He was at Vittoriosa on loan.
They got relegated as well, didn't they?
Relegated as well. He was on loan there. He went back to Sweetie, but ended up deciding it was best for him to move on. Mtafa's willing to give him the opportunity he deserves. He deserves minutes, and I think Mtafa's definitely going to reward him and give him a lot of time on the pitch. And allow him to develop into the player we know he's capable of. Now it's whether he can bring that form and come into light the season up.
100%. I feel like he can. He's
Premier League player for sure.
Not from what certain coaches said about him, but listen, it's up to him to prove them wrong.
A little bit of juicy gossip behind the scenes. Apparently, some coaches are doubting TJ's capability of playing in the Premier League. I, for one, disagree. Premier League player 100%. For sure. Premier League player.
Strong, fast. We've seen from the episodes what he's got in that left foot rocket. And the dedication, he works hard.
He's committed.
He's a hard worker. He works very, very hard. I give that to him. And,
Guys, if you want to hear more about TJ's journey to how he ended up in Malta, there is going to be a link to episode 4 of the Unprofessional Footballer Podcast. Yeah. It's going to be up in the top corner. Go and click that, and that will take you through to TJ's episode, and you can learn a bit more about TJ and how he grew up in Nigeria and came over to Malta to play. Danny Claridge emceed St. Joseph last season. I believe he's currently a free agent as well. Free agent
at the moment, yeah.
Had a disagreement with his team, ended up not wanting to re-sign. And now he's on the market for a new team again. He is a bit of a veteran now in
Maltese football.
In Maltese football, I think enough teams know who he is. I know he's been contacted by a lot of teams already, and now it's just down to him whether to just pick really which team is going to give him the best opportunity. Myself, I've played 4 games so far. Gargor FC. I have spoken to Gargor and let them know that I feel like I'm ready to try and make that move back up a division again. I want to be playing in the Challenge League at least next season, so I am on the hunt for a new club as well. But I still will be working closely with Gargor with the youth nursery programme. David Boham, who was a bit of a surprise actually, wasn't he?
How many assists in the first game?
Bit of an assist king, a bit of a Mesut Ozil. Really went under the radar until I actually tallied up the stats and we realised how fucking good he's been creatively for his team. He played 2 games. Previously, he played for Pembroke. I believe he signed from Boutsands Miners, actually. He's got a bit of a good history here in Malta. But he didn't play for a team last season. So that's a potential player for maybe the amateur league for someone to snap up.
100%.
Donnis Quintero, one of my favourite players I've coached over the years. I coached him at Fgora. He is still at Fgora, re-signing a 1-year contract, I believe, with them. He'll be turning out for Fgora next season. He played 1 game so far. Emmanuel Mbong is currently at Zira United. We just played against them
last week.
Last week, Friday.
Battered all scores 5-1.
Ooh, bit of a battering, yeah.
5-1, and Emmanuel put on a really good performance.
Emmanuel come on in the second half.
He was rapid, and I did message him after the game and told him, you look sharp. As well. Yeah. He looked really, really sharp that game.
Really, really good.
When he pushed the ball past one of the defenders and he was gone, and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a long game.
Very, very funny.
Yeah.
Some of the other players that have turned out, Joe Willie, again, another guy that's been racking up the numbers in five-a-side. He's at Sweetie United, and I believe he's going to stay there another year.
Yeah.
Good.
At least another year.
It's a good club for him to be at. He's very comfortable there.
His
strong team.
His energy level is
exactly.
ridiculous. He doesn't get tired.
Rapid. Ferrari winger.
He doesn't get tired.
Then we've also had Max Perez Kokov. He's a bit of a MAFA specialist. He's been around the clubs in the Maltese Amateur Football Association. So that's like Sunday League here in Malta. Big Ukrainian goalkeeper, always reliable for me. I've trained with him a lot in the past, and since then I know I trust him in this environment to play.
Yeah.
He's made 3 appearances and is currently leading in the saves department. Melvin Akingboye, 4 games, ridiculous amount of goals. We'll get onto that shortly. Melv, tell me about your situation right now.
I'm actually a free agent at the moment. Don't know what I'm going to do next. Definitely would love to play in a very competitive league next year. Maybe the Challenge. If something does...
I think Challenge is realistic, but ideally I would want to see you in Premier.
I would love to. I mean, to help my CV and to boost me to playing at,
I know you're good enough to play Premier.
It's all about like you said, the dedication. We had a conversation about this the other day, and it's about, staying true to yourself.
We'll probably talk about on another podcast. We'll go into more detail about that sort of conversation we had, because I think there's a lot of players out there that would benefit.
100%. So
that's
about it at the moment.
I think for you it might help coaches see you a little bit more in the Challenge League. I think that's probably what they're waiting for. You only played 7 games last season, half a season. I imagine maybe some coaches would want to see you just show again consistency.
I did get from somebody where they said, there was talk around saying that my half season, got 4 goals, 2 assists in about 7-8 games. It was more of a fluke, and they would love to see a lot more of me. So it was a thing where... That's
I think, not how I'm personally picturing it, but I think maybe some of the coaches in Malta do want to just not take that risk just yet. Yeah. Maybe see you play for a higher end team in Challenge, see you tear it up for them before pulling the trigger.
I mean, Rabat do have a great program that they're putting together for the next season, but, we'll just see how things go. I'm not going to, make a decision.
There is plenty of pre-season left and lots of time to figure out where you're going to be. One of my personal favourites now coming up from the Fives, Miguel Falzon. I played with him at Ormy.
I hate this guy.
2 seasons ago now, I think it was.
When he's not on your team, you
have to hate. God, this guy.
He makes a huge difference in the games. The games that he's played.
What would you say? Number 1 frustrating player in the Fives. Like, if you're against him,
you think he's on the floor. You think you have to sit him down 2-3 times, but actually put the ball in.
Yeah.
And then he's always
quickly becoming
it's
one of the best players at the Fives and really showing himself. The fact that this guy is in Amateur League next season, I cannot fucking believe it. He's had to return back to Ormy. He was at Senglair. Senglair didn't want to pay the compensation that you have to pay for youth academy products to get them out of their teams on professional contracts.
What is it, more like what's that thing called? The training?
Yeah, so you have to, it's the training compensation. So because the team has trained the player up until that point, you have to compensate them for that, which personally I think is dumb.
Unfair.
How can you not let someone move on like that? He deserves so much more. He's definitely Challenge League goalkeeper, potentially Premier from what we've seen in Fives. So there's a player to look out for next season. And if you're a club in the market for a goalkeeper and you got a bit of spare change, go and fucking spend it on Miguel. You won't regret it. Nick Borge, the Maltese Thiago. St George's FC last season. I believe he's going back to Birkirkara.
Yeah.
Same thing. I think he's still under registration to Birkirkara, and I think a team has to outright pay for his compensation.
He needs to be given an opportunity to play, because that boy can play football.
This boy is honestly one of the most gifted Maltese players I've ever seen. since I've been here. He's fucking unreal. And the fact that his name is not mentioned among some of the top Maltese players in the country is a travesty. This guy deserves so much more praise than he gets. Finally, we've got 3 more players to talk about. We've got Toby Promise.
It's my brother.
Melvin brought him in and he fucking lit up that game.
Yeah, he was, got
goals
and everything.
A lot of goals, a lot of
good
assists.
striker, strong, very, very...
Was playing at Valletta last season, has just signed a new deal for Sirens. I believe, probably...
I think last season he was actually with the Valletta minors. But then I think
given an
his
opportunity.
performance and everything, his consistency, he got a chance with the seniors. And he did really well for himself, really, really well. Scored a couple important goals for Valletta, I think, against... If I'm correct, he must have scored, not against Floriana, did he? But he scored some very important goals for Valletta. And that's really good for him.
I am looking forward to seeing a team give him a full senior season, and he should make a big impact in Maltese football.
100%.
Very, very
100%.
consistent finisher. That's something that you'll see with Toby. We had Yuya join us for one game. Yuya Mura, he played for Santa Venera Lightnings and Kirkop last season. I believe he might be staying at Santa Venera. That's something I will confirm at the end of the pre-season. I think that'll be a good episode, actually, at the end of pre-season, looking back and seeing
where the players
have all ended up, everyone that we worked with.
This is what we know for now until the end of the,
And then finally we had Zach Azapardi, a friend of mine from Gargour. He plays for their minors at the moment as well. He's a young promising goalkeeper.
He did really well that day.
Was very, very good. Well. First episode, unfortunately couldn't make it back for the return match, and since then kind of fell out of the shuffle with players like Miguel coming in and being so regularly available. It became hard to bring some people back into the shuffle. So those were the players that have been involved in the first 4 games. There are some big names that then filter into episodes 5, 6, 7 and 8, including some Maltese Premier League winners.
True.
Fucking high-level players coming in. So, the success of the first 3 episodes. I've got them up on the screen here. Episode 1, the Maltese Tiago, centred around Nick and his emerging in Fives as one of the fucking best players in the game. Awesome debut.
That performance that day, you can't take it away from him. It was
unbelievable. Had everyone speechless at the Fives. Really showed us just how high the level of Fives could get to. 326 views in 4 weeks, and very happy with those numbers. I think it got to something like 150 within the first 2 or 3 days. Big numbers. Was really well. What's the word? Like really well received. Well received by the community here in Malta. And then we went to episode 2. How do you stop TJ?
I think that needs to go to 2, 3, 4, 5 because we still haven't figured it out. So
TJ is a menace to society when he gets on that football pitch. We have put him against so many different types of players to see how they adjust to him, and he just destroys them all. It's very difficult to figure out how to actually play against this guy. I actually made myself play against him 3 games in a row just to see if I could work out how to defend against him. I still have no idea.
You should probably go watch the videos and see what he's talking about.
I have no idea how to stop this guy. He is a problem. And then the most recent episode released 2 days ago, titled Goal of the Year, we saw Melvin score a fucking ridiculous goal. So if you have not seen that, go click that video. Again, link is going to be up there. I might even show the goal behind us if you're lucky. Otherwise, I'm going to make you go and see.
Oh, God.
I'm going to make you go and click the video and go have a look because this goal deserves Puskas Award.
Have we, what's it called? You put it in yet for podcast? Have you sent it?
I've sent it in. In big good. And bold. What was it? Team Yellow. That's the team that I've registered him to for the goal. Episode 4 should be out within the next week or 2. I'm giving myself a little bit of leeway to work with it. The editing does take a lot, especially when you're a one-man army like myself, carrying about 8 different jobs at the same time.
Don't know how you
and
do it.
Pre-season's definitely starting to take a bit of priority here. So that's the first 3 episodes we talked about, the successes. Now it's time to talk about some of the problems. As anything, when you're starting a new project, it's not going to be a smooth sail. There's going to be a lot of hiccups that arise, and some of those that we anticipated Some of them we didn't. I think the first problem that we came across that really took us by surprise was the day that Willie was about 15 minutes late. I think that was episode 2.
So it does, because you only get 1 hour.
We got an hour on the pitch, and what we didn't realise was that there would actually be a booking after us. So I'd set up the 25-minute halves as normal, and we realised 15 minutes into the second half, we had no time left. The team were ready to come on after us, and we were like, oh shit.
So we rushed off the pitch and then
We had a bit of
no altercation, but little
controversy with the ending. We scored what we thought was the winning goal, only for the people on the sideline to say we could play another 2 minutes. We weren't really that involved in the game after that. You guys quickly countered and scored 2 goals in quick succession.
Willie made up for it and scored the
Exactly. So we walked away with another L. That was our second L. And it was a learning curve, something that we definitely...
We spoke about it. We talked about it as a group collectively and said...
Began then putting in the chat a clear meet time, 15 minutes before everyone get there, sort out the bibs, sort out the teams. We're still maybe run over a little bit each time, but luckily at the moment we're the last booking, so we can. It's been a bit more relaxed on time. And one of the other problems that we've faced has been players dropping out. That has been the bane of my existence for the past 6 weeks, and actually caused me to almost pull the plug on Fives altogether early, to be honest. It's been a big frustration having all this effort and time arranging camera crews, arranging pitch, arranging payments. And bear in mind, guys, for the most part, I've been paying for a lot of this all up front myself. Players have been great and started to chip in after, I think, the second week, third week, when they realised just how big the idea was going to be. People started to get behind me and help me financially, but otherwise I'd been paying for this all myself. And just, on the first day we almost had to cancel it, didn't we? We had, I think, 3 players drop out in like the last day before the game.
And that doesn't help, does it?
Doesn't help at all. It makes other players very cautious and wary about how good the game's actually going to be. I remember Danny Claridge said to me after the game, he said, "Danny, I can't believe how good that was. I thought it was going to be shit." And I said, "How come?" And he said, after you said that 2 players had dropped out like 2 hours before the game,
replacements was not...
He just thought it was going to be a disaster. I thought it was, to be honest, as well. I was getting really nervous that the first day was going to be shit and that would cannon the entire thing from the get-go. Luckily, Emmanuel and Bong came in clutch, brought David with him. And those guys saved us, really, and helped us keep the episode going.
The level was really good as well, so it wasn't like,
Exactly. It wasn't bringing in shit players to just fill the numbers. They fucking levelled up the game, I'll be honest.
Yeah, to be honest.
The game was very good. Emmanuel, as we'll see later on, fucking rinsed 2 games and came away as one of the highest scoring players that we've seen in the Fives so far. Besides players dropping out, that still happens. It's kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
We have a bit of more of a contingency plan now where we try and make players give me more notice about it.
Beforehand, at least.
Still, I'm getting a lot of players dropping out. But that's mainly new players, and that's where one of the issues is. I think the regulars know the drill by now. You can kind of count on them that if they say they're going to play, they're going to play. Other players have also been very good that when they drop out, they come with a replacement for me and tell me, look, I'm dropping out, but this guy's going to take my place. He's a good player. And again, that saves me the headache of having to source a replacement. But sometimes we try and bring new players in, like we've been on camp recently, and there were 2 players that we were like, wow, these guys are good. We need to get them down here. We invite them down, and then on the day they pull out because of... It's a fair reason, but at the same time, it's just frustrating that if they know it's going on, tell me earlier. Don't tell me 2 hours before the game and then have me running around trying to find people to replace you. But new players, I think because they don't know kind of how things work and how much effort's going into it, they think that it's just a regular casual five-a-side that they can just drop out of. We've had another player that got invited down to a training session the day, I think it was a few hours before the game was scheduled, and he decided that he'd prefer to go to the training and not play in the Fives because he would be too tired, whereas the rest of us were signed up ready to do double duty. That's part of pre-season, really, is playing when you're tired. That's the best time to actually polish off your technique and make sure that you don't lose technique when you start to get tired. But the final problem that we've had is obviously, as we get closer to pre-season starting, a few teams, like you said, have already started now.
Their pre-season, so the time and the schedules is trying to having the players go up to pre-season training.
Even beach soccer. There was beach soccer that's just finished now.
A few tournaments going on as well. So
lots of other summer tournaments taking place. A lot of the players that I thought were going to be regulars, their schedules became conflicting, and we had to source replacements for them. Those are the sort of people that tell me way in advance and tell me that they're busy, so that's not a problem. But it's just, again, contingency plan, keeping players on the back burner, ready to jump in. And like I said, my DMs have been very busy, which is very helpful. It means I've got a big pool of players to choose from. And luckily we're still going, 9 episodes in. I think maybe episode 10 might be the end of the Fives. Judging by timing, pre-season starting, we'll see if we can get any more games after that. But I think
a good number
10's a nice number to end on, round number. For season 1 of the Fives, I think that's a good place to close it off. We're going to take a look at the database now. So one thing that I have been working on the past week is actually tallying up some data for the Fives so far. People love stats. I, for one, am a big stat head. So I've got this database that you're going to see behind us. It's got every player that's ever played in the Fives in it. And along with that has all of their appearances, their goals, assists, nutmegs, man of the match awards, goal of the games. I've come up with a scoring system so that we can work out who the best player in the Fives is by the numbers. We've got points per game ratio. So for the people that have only played 1 or 2 games, their numbers are averaged out alongside those who have played more games, like Melvin, who's featured in every game so far. Some interesting stats that we've seen so far are most appearances. We've seen Melvin, you've dominated the appearance chart. So far, 4 out of 4 games for TJ, me, Willie, Melvin and Nick.
Yeah.
You've seen a few of us drop off in numbers as we've gotten up to episode 8 and 9. I think Melvin is still going strong with an 100% appearance record. I was sick one week and missed out.
Oh yeah, that's true actually. Yeah.
Really sick. That was a big shock to the system.
Turned to a photographer that day.
Turned to photographer that day. Always keep myself involved. Even when I can't get out of bed, I'll still make sure I'm there and making sure everything's running smoothly. Mainly because, let's face it, if I'm not there, I think the whole thing would descend into chaos.
Yeah, true.
After appearances, we're going to take a look at the highest goal scorers after week 4. Melvin Akingboye, 4 games, 16 goals. You didn't misunderstand me. That's right, 16 goals. This guy is averaging 4 goals a game. Crazy.
How many misses? We don't want to talk about that, do we?
Well, they don't make the cut. Well, they do make the cut. I make sure I put every miss in because he scores so many goals. I want people to see him miss. It makes me feel better. The king of misses is me. You give me an open goal, I'll make sure I miss it. TJ's racked up 14 goals in 4 games, but can we just appreciate the fact that TJ, 12 assists.
14 goals and 12 assists.
14 goals, 12 assists. Melvin, on the other hand, 16 goals, only 4 assists.
That's ridiculous.
The fact that TJ is creating so much output, both scoring and assisting, is ridiculous. This guy, man.
So it shows everything we're saying, it just confirms, that, because numbers don't lie, do they?
How this guy isn't in the Premier League already, I don't know. This guy is a born machine for football. Tenorio, 2 games, 10 goals, 10 assists. I mean, what the fuck? This guy is putting up numbers of someone you'd expect to have played 10 games. I'll be lucky if I'm at 10 goals after 10 games. This guy scored it in 2. Tenorio's been a fucking killer. Absolute killer. His footwork,
points
his
per
finishing.
game. He must have the highest points per game, don't
Points
he?
per game, 18 points per game. I will break down the scoring system so you get a bit more understanding of what we're talking about when we talk about points. Joe Willie, again, 4 games, 9 goals, 11 assists. Similar to TJ, maybe not as many goals, but assists-wise, killing it. putting up very, very high numbers. He's the point guard, I like to call him. He gets the ball from the back and just drives.
His energy level's different.
That Ferrari speed driven straight through the defence. He just runs at the heart of the defence every time. Like a Saint Maximin. Just gets the ball and drives. He wants to take people on. Every time he goes 1v1 with me, he wants to try and make me look stupid with the fucking African dancing footwork. Sends me left, right to the shop, gets the receipt. Fucking crazy. He's made Danny look like he's on ice skates.
Looked like Boateng against fucking Messi that day.
Exactly. Willie has been one of the most exciting players of the Fives for sure.
Yeah.
We've got Nick, 8 goals, 11 assists. Again, one of those players that not only does he get the output, he also does the dirty work that you don't see.
Off the ball, we don't see it, but this guy he works hard.
Racking up the Man of the Match awards for sure throughout the season. Mm-hmm. He's one of those guys that you're going to probably see 2 or 3 Man of the Match awards. Yeah. Then we've seen Emmanuel rip it up. Probably the 2 most explosive appearances. I think 6 goals in 1 game in the first episode. Mm-hmm. Only 2 goals the following episode. Maybe not as shining as he was in the first, but
I mean, Willie was on him the whole game, wasn't he?
Exactly, yeah. Willie chopping him down.
I think kind of took him out the game a bit,
Willie's been the leader for fouls. In 4 games, he's racked up 12 fouls. This guy, I need to buy some red and yellow cards just for Willie. Then you see me at the lower end of the scoring. We've got 4 games, 5 goals, 4 assists, 4 nutmegs. I was leading nutmegs until TJ overtook me.
I mean, to be fair, one of your goals happened to be one of the goal of the games as well.
Maybe
Great
goal
finish.
of the season coming up there. Probably not as good as your one. Your one was a little bit better.
Oh, God.
But, I mean, for me, like we said at the beginning, it's been a bit of a journey. You see in the first 2-3 episodes, I'm pretty much non-existent. Come into my own a little bit in the next few episodes. You'll see me start to actually... funny enough, I think I'm going to set the record for most blocks made in 1 game in episode 4. I think I'm going to put a little hit counter, like, the Modern Warfare 2 hit markers. I'm going to put that every time the ball hits me and have a little hit mark counter in the bottom. I think I'm going to get to like double figures for sure, maybe even 20 blocks in one game. Seriously, 20 blocks. I look at my leg at the end of the game, it looks like I've been through a meat grinder. The fucking ball has just pulverised that lever off my leg. Some of the other numbers, we had David Boham record 6 assists in 1 game, episode 1. Really, really high output. And then you look at the lower end of the scoring charts, we had episode 4. You're going to see Yuya's debut. Now, Yuya was one of those players I had really high hopes for because he is a quality player.
Very quality player.
He is a very high quality player.
It takes a lot more than what you like your technique and skill and everything, because this game it has a lot of speed and strength.
The speed and strength,
the physicality of this game it's not just about being talented, but then are you working hard enough to keep up with that level and that pace?
We've seen a few players come and maybe where they excel in one area, the area that they're not quite up to speed with everyone else, really just pulls them back and stops them.
It's very important. Very, very important.
Now, Yuya's a player that we've both played with, 11 aside.
Yeah.
Lovely footwork, very graceful player. Love watching him play. He's one of those players I was really excited when I brought him to the Fives, because in my head I thought, content, this guy, if he starts doing the footwork that I'm used to seeing, it's going to look wicked on camera.
Yeah.
But he got rocked by TJ
once, and it just took him out the game completely.
Yeah, he got nailed by TJ on a tackle, and that tackle hit him very hard. And I think from there, just a little bit shy and a bit reserved. Maybe that's where personality plays a part as well. He is a bit of a shy person.
Yeah.
You need, I think, a bit of that confidence, a bit of arrogance when you play in Fives to back yourself. It's something that I've definitely been working on.
I did a lot of talking. I talked a lot of shit for the first couple of games until we got humbled in the 4th episode. After we got humbled, I've not said nothing since then.
Me and Melvin are definitely some of the biggest talkers when it comes to Fives. You'll see us always on the pitch chatting shit at each other, especially when we're on opposition team. Danny and Melvin have a love-hate relationship when they play together. I think Danny definitely goes down as the angriest player we've ever had at the Fives. This guy You could put him in paradise and he'll still find a reason to complain. In true British fashion, this guy is never happy. And the fact that him and Melvin play on the same team, you see some lovely arguments come out of that. And I think he's called.
I realised you never win, so I just keep shots out. I just like, fuck it, let's just play, man.
I think
great guy though, great guy.
Episode 8 was probably the angriest game we've ever played.
He's a great guy though. It's just when emotions get heated, everything gets high. It's just.
It's passion. It comes from a place of passion. It's never a place
of
anger or like wanting to rip people. He's passionate about football. He's played at a high level, and he just wants to continue playing at a high level. And it's good at times.
Hold himself to a certain standard, and when he sees that drop, he's not a fan of that.
So I think we're going to start to wrap up here, and I think the best way we can wrap up would be talk about the top 5 players so far. So we're only talking about team. First 4 games. So let me zoom this list out so you can see which players you've got to choose from. These are your players, Melv. Let me zoom out a little bit more. Give you a full look. Let's go 60%. I think that's going to be our magic number. There we go. 60%.
I just pick someone and then you tell me whether you agree with him or not.
Yeah, I'm going to let you pick your team. I'll pick my team after, and you can again go through and dissect my options. Okay. So you need 1 goalkeeper, 4 outfield players. I'm going to put it on the top scorers as well, so you can see who's actually had the highest points since we've been playing.
Okay, so...
In fact, I'll do points per game. Even better. This is why we've done the average, so you can actually see on average who's scoring the highest amounts of points. So, Mel, take us away. You're 5. If you had to pick 5 players.
In goal, we have some really good goalkeepers. But I think it gives you the advantage with someone like Miguel because he does play out the back of his feet. It's good at that. Makes some incredible saves. And, so definitely have Miguel in goal. 100% taking Nick, that for sure. Because it's a game because five-a-side goes back and forth, so it's a thing. It's not really any defenders or attackers, but the work he does, the work he does off the ball, even a few times he's cleared the ball off the line, even after the keeper's beaten, he's been there he's always there. Always.
He's always there. Always. That's it. He's just always there.
You see the ball creeping in and then, whoop. Here he goes,
the word omnipresent, I think, sums up Nick. Literally, he's always, ever present.
Always showing up when you mostly need him. And I don't think he's dropped in performance from every game he's played. He's kept a certain level. His consistency level has been amazing. And moving on, a powerhouse like TJ, you need him. Yeah. Because it's back and forth for him. TJ takes a shot, next thing you see him tackle you to win the ball back to attack you again. He literally is back and forth. He doesn't stop going the whole game. Definitely has an engine there. So TJ, Nick, Miguel.
2 more players.
Looking at the names. I would take you because we play well together, but...
I've been a lone squad. First 4 games, I'm not worth taking.
For the first 4 games.
First 4 games, I'm not worth taking. I was unfit. Still getting back.
He shouts at me all the time, but Willie.
Yeah. Getting high output.
He gets on me all the time, and I know because he wants the best for me, and he knows I can bring a lot more to the table, even if I do. But he says to me, you know what? He wants to see me do well. He's generally from a good place. So I will take Willie. We argue a lot, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's part of the game.
Team Nigel boys have been undefeated, I think, when all three of you
when we're all together, we haven't lost. So, and then I will take myself.
Of course, you take yourself. I was gonna say.
It's my dream team. So, I do get the goals.
Bro, you got 16 goals. You got to bring yourself.
I would always bring the goals to the table. I would always bring the goals to the game, and I feel like that's what, even when my fitness levels at certain points haven't really, been a huge part of my game, my input in the sense of bringing those goals have really helped my team to, cross over the finish line and getting the wins and all of that.
How you win games. You've got to
so I've been able to find that balance. And over the weeks, I've seen myself get fitter. First, maybe 2 games, wasn't really coming back past the halfway line. Now I'm finding myself actually doing that work. Not as much as I need to be, but I'm seeing the progress and I really like it. So, yeah, that's my team. And if we had one sub, I'm definitely taking Tenorio.
I was going to say...
If we had a sub, just, I'll take Tenorio.
Tenorio missing out. He is the points per game leader on average with only 2 games. We'll see as he racks up a few more appearances whether he can keep that level, which I think he does, to be honest. I don't think I've seen him.
It's really hard to take, if you look at Tenorio and Emmanuel, 2 very, very skillful players. But what I noticed was Tenorio got kicked and got up. Emmanuel eventually took him up the game at certain points, and a
little bit of head loss.
Yeah, and it happens. He's getting ready for pre-season, going to Europe with Zira. He wants to be in the best of shape.
The one benefit you would have if you did take Emmanuel in your team would be that Willie is his teammate. So Willie wouldn't be kicking the shit out of him all game.
To be fair, that's a fair one. And Donnis,
I'll be honest.
Over time, in more recent weeks, we would get to that.
The first 4 games didn't do Donnis justice. I think he was at the beginning of his pre-season.
Yeah,
started a bit later than everyone else. Donnis definitely had a lot more to give. He's shown in the last 2 games that he's really starting to get close to his level right now, and it's showing.
So what's yours? Tell me.
My 5, I think, very similar to yours. Miguel, obvious choice. The cat. Fucking unbeatable in goal. Again, I'm sure he's played outfield at some point in his life because he's wicked on the ball as well. Just having a goalkeeper that can join in and keep possession with you makes a massive difference. He scored 2 assists in 2 games for a goalkeeper.
He got an assist?
Yeah, 2. This guy's unreal, bro. He's scoring points. Soon he's going to have goals. I'm sure he's going to be the first goalkeeper to score.
He's had a few shots, hasn't he? So
he's stung the fingertips of a few goalies. If he's not the first goalie to score, I don't know who it's going to be. Next player, I think Nick, like you said, he's always the first name on the team sheet. This guy, unreal, Maltese Thiago, graceful, skillful, just fucking workhorse.
Comes with the work rate. The work rate comes with it. That's what it is.
And he's prepared to do the work behind the scenes. He doesn't have to be the shining light, doesn't have to score all the goals, doesn't have to be the one getting the assist.
Team player.
He's going to be the one that makes, like you said, the goal line clearances.
One thing I've learned about playing with him, you have to always stay alert, because sometimes you think he's going to shoot the ball. He plays a perfect decoy pass to you. So you have to be ready for it. Yeah. He sees those things before.
He's caught me off guard a few times, especially when I was unfit. You see my fat little legs trying to stretch out to catch the ball. It's not happening.
Oh, God.
I'm definitely starting to get more on Nick's wavelength. Next pick, TJ, like you said. Total points, he's the leader. I think that level of output, you've got to bring it to the table. Again, like you said, work rate, power, speed, shot power. I mean, the posts, they're going to need new posts at Moster soon because I'm sure he's going to break it in half. Then we're looking at 2 more positions I've got to pick, right?
Yeah.
I would say...
So you got Nick, TJ. I would probably go with Tenorio and you. Okay. Tenorio and you to fill. We did play well together that game. I think he scored about 5 goals. I got like 6 that day. So
from what I've seen so far from editing the footage, especially, Tenorio and TJ have a beautiful fucking partnership together. They have a great understanding. Tenorio and Nick also play very well together. Nick and TJ fucking superb together. You'll see from episode 4 that they run the show. And then again, you are kind of that missing jigsaw piece puzzle. If we need goals, we can rely that you're going to be that pivot up front. And it's important to have a pivot up front that we can rely on to
score a lot of ugly tap-ins.
Exactly, get the goals, just kind of brute strength your way through the defence. A little bit more defensive output might be nice from you if you could just cut passing channels from the front, dictate where they go instead of kind of being in front of the play all the time. Yeah. That's what I would want to see from you. But I think that's my 5. I don't make the cut. I think I definitely... Miguel, Tenorio, TJ, Nick and you, I think that's a winning team. I think there's not many teams in Malta that would be able to play against you guys and get a good result. I think you guys would bop a lot of teams off the pitch. Defensively, it's sound. Again,
there's a balance.
Willie from the first 4 episodes is the player that's on the edge. So yeah, and that's pretty much what we've got to talk about today in terms of what's happened so far. The only thing left really to talk about is where I want to take it, really. Season 2 of the Unprofessional Fives. if I'm still in Malta is going to be a big question. Obviously, the football industry is a very dynamic industry. You never really know where you're going to be.
Yeah.
Players moving on all the time. I would be very surprised if we had even half the cast that we had this season back. Maybe players like TJ, Willie are more settled in Malta. Obviously, the Maltese players like Nick, Miguel, Emmanuel, they'll more than likely be in Malta still. When it comes to the international players, they're the ones that really just hop around and can leave within a moment's notice when a new deal comes around the corner. January is going to be interesting to see if anyone leaves in January. Even at the end of pre-season this season. I do want to say something before we get out of here. I do wish everyone well. People who started, congratulations if you signed for a new club, and wishing you I know these guys can do it. Yeah, from what I've seen, they can, and I just hope that they get the opportunity to actually do this. I'm excited to see what TJ is going to do, Andres, Willie this season. I want to see them up there. It's exciting. It's really exciting. That, they've worked really hard to get there, and it's parental role in me almost comes out a little bit because I feel like I've helped get these guys to a certain. You gave them a platform to stay in shape and to play. Giving them a platform to gain their confidence themselves, talk about themselves. People are really getting behind the podcast and the interview side of things. We're definitely going to have Willie come on. We've got a few other players from the Unprofessional Fives that we're definitely going to come on and get them to tell their story as long as they want to. And Nick is someone I'd love to have come on. Whether it's his thing or not is something that I'll have to talk with him and find out whether he actually wants to share his story or not. But I feel like that's he's got a story to tell for sure. 100%. Everyone does. How someone that talented isn't really giving that getting that recognition. I think that would be a very interesting story to hear his thoughts on why he's in the position he is. But yeah, for season 2, I think we could aim bigger and better. Obviously, we tried to introduce a second day. Yeah, but then the schedules really did clash. I think early on, if we'd have done second day, it probably would have worked a lot better. We maybe introduced it a little too late. So definitely at the start of off season, maybe up to 2 days a week. Potentially down the line, there could be a league, Unprofessional Fives, Team Niger, get Team Niger boys together. Could have a Maltese team, the South American team. Guys, when you get to episode like 6, 7, 8, where I start bringing in the Latin Americans, oh boy, you thought Africans could run. Fuck me, they're making us run so much more than you'd ever expect. I thought we'd be able to handle it. I thought we'd have the stamina and the pace to actually handle it. That we can't, bro. It just sometimes you get caught in the washing machine and they're just bopping it around one touch and you can't get anywhere near them. So South Americans for sure. Get maybe a Brazilian team together, get together a Colombian team. There's something to think about for the future. If the interest is there, potentially we could do a little tournament. Definitely, I want to do Fives World Cup at some point. That would be great. Have maybe Continental Cup. Maybe if we don't do it by actual nation, we can just do Continental and have maybe a North American team, South American, European, African, etc. That would be cool. Apart from that, just more of the same, really. Just maybe up the production value. Level up some of the advertising boards around the side, get some sponsors in. Sponsors, I think, would really take us to the next level. I think the platform's there, the interest is there. If there are anyone who you think, even if you sat there and you think, oh, my dad's company probably could do something cool with this, fucking put them in touch. I'm always looking for new deals and new ways to up production value, take on some of the expenses. Maybe we can use that to pick another venue. Maybe we use it to bring in some actual kits. That's something I would like to do, is launch the Unprofessional Fives kits. I'm thinking black for one strip, gold for the other, keeping in tone with my branding. Yeah. And everyone gets shirts. That would be cool, instead of playing with the bibs. Although bibs does give that summer vibe. I think everyone likes playing shirtless with the bib on. Yeah. You see a couple of us been rocking that lately because the temperatures are soaring. What are we, like 30, 35, 36 degrees sometimes at the moment? Fucking, it's getting hot. hot, and the later we play is much better at the moment. Yeah, but as for the future, that's where I see the direction of the Fives going. I see it becoming a more and more hotly anticipated game. People getting excited for it when summer comes around. Everyone knows it's Fives season.
Yeah.
And more people just trying to secure their places in the Fives. Obviously, it's hard to introduce everyone. We've got probably 20, 30 players on waiting list waiting to try and get involved, but it's just there's not enough room. So maybe if we up to 2 games a week, 3 games a week, we can have more rotation and bring people in. So the more interest you guys show in it, the higher we can bring it, is pretty much the mission. Get more interest and up it from there. Mel, have you got anything to say before we wrap up?
That's about it. It's really good.
It's been good to be back on the podcast, 100%. Back on the mic. It's been too long. It's time to open some windows because it is sweltering in here. I'm fucking sweating it out in my Ronaldo shirt. Got Ronaldo up there as well, rocking matchy with me. Ronaldinho as well. Shout out to the most skillful players in world football. There's going to be some cool compilations coming out of the Fives. Once the content is over in terms of games, it's not done. Boys, we're going to get highlight reels of all the individual players. Get ready to see Nick on highlight reel. When I show you Nick's highlight reel, you guys are going to understand.
What you meant, yeah.
Understand. And no one will disrespect Nick ever again. TJ's highlight reel is just going to be like fucking missile after missile. I'm going to have to put a song like Here Comes the Boom on the back of that one. Melvin's just going to be goals galore. Me, you're going to see me falling over a couple of times. Danny, you're going to see falling over a couple of times. There's going to be some good content coming out of it, guys. That's the end of the podcast. Right. We will be talking about the Maltese Football Player Association summer camp that we've been a part of for the past 3 weeks. That's going to be the next topic of discussion on the Fives, on the podcast, on the Unprofessional Footballer Podcast. We've also got Maltese football legend and Maltese Premier League winner Ramau coming onto the podcast to tell his story. 2 weeks' time, because I'm gone for the weekend in Barcelona.
Ramau, it was a goal, okay? Don't forget.
But yes, we're going to be joined by a former Premier League Maltese winner and very decorated career all over the world. Played at a very high level in Brazil before coming to Malta. Ramau's going to tell his story, and we've got some other guests lined up for future Fives episodes and for future podcasts. Guys, if you've enjoyed the return of the Unprofessional Footballer Podcast, do leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment below who you want to see on the podcast or what you want to see us talk about. We're always looking in the comments section. Guys, enjoy.